Hey procrastinators! Today is collab day with Renee from Delaney Jane Cards, and today we are doing a sort of a supply swap, I guess, where she sent me some stamped images and die cuts and a background and some jewels embellishments. There we go, that's the word I was thinking of. And I did the same for her, and we are creating cards with those supplies. So as you can see, she sent me the superhero girl and guy there. I popped some names up on the screen for you. These sentiments that go with them. She did stamp them, the superheroes, on both Bristol and Nina for me, so I could have my choice of coloring options. Then we've got this globe type thing here. I don't know what that came from. And then we've got the star here, and there's another one a little bit later on. We've got the MFT Skyline border dies here. And then there is a birthday girl and birthday boy. Those are both from MFT as well. And then some numbers. She said that was probably a Spellbinders number set that's retired. And then she made me a background when my camera stops messing up. I was trying to show you here, since it's a white on white, how hard it is to see on camera, but I was trying to show you what you're looking at there. And then she made me a background here with some rainbow foil and the celestial star background hot foil plate from Spellbinders. I've also got some washi tape here. And then last but not least, the embellishments from Open Studio, the fairy drops and the fairy jewels. So that's what I've got to work with. Some I used, some I didn't, and then I mix in some of my own supplies as well. So I did color the images that I used off screen. You'll see those here in a little bit. I colored those with my Copic markers. I did film it, but the video was going to be like another 10 minutes longer if I put it in, so I just decided to cut it out. So I'm starting with the City Skyline. I believe that's what I told you it was called. Now I already forgot the name. Yes, the Skyline border die. And I'm going to ink blend some hickory smoke here on it because they were white die cuts. That way I could color them whatever color I wish to color them, which I appreciated that she did that for me. So I'm just going to use some hickory smoke here, and then I'm going to come in with some black soot. I did do this on both of the Skyline dies here. I did use both of the pieces that she gave me. I decided I wanted the front one a little bit lighter than the back one because objects that are further away are going to appear darker, especially in a night scene, which is what I am making. So I did go over this. I'm not going to show you the second one. So there's the two pieces. I'm just kind of deciding. I wasn't sure if they're both cut to the same size or not, especially like the tallness, the height. There we go. Words are hard today. Well, words are hard for me every day. But anyway, so here I'm coming in with the black soot. I'm just going to come up from the bottom with the black soot. I didn't want my buildings to be black. I wanted them to be a dark gray. And of course, the bottom of the building is going to be darker than the top. So I'm going to just come up from the bottom here, and one of them again is going to be darker than the other. So I think this one was the lighter one, and the second one I'm going to do the darker one, and you will see these a little bit later in the video. What I mean by which one's going to be darker and lighter, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But since I'm not showing both of these on screen right now, I'm just going to tell you that one is going to be darker than the other one. All right, so then this is something I'm taking from my own stash here. I'm using a Pink and Main concave rectangle die. This is a set of them that just go from smaller to larger. This is the largest one in the set. So I did cut that background paper that she made for me out of that. And then we're going to do some ink blending on this as well. So I must have had something on my plates, so I had some smudges there. I'm just taking a white eraser to get that off real quick before I do my ink blending. Like I said, we're going to be doing a night sky. So the colors I chose for this were Picked Raspberry, Wilted Violet, Villainous Potion, I always want to call it Poison, Villainous Potion, and Chipped Sapphire. So we're just going to start with the Picked Raspberry, get that on there real good. And then we will blend into the Wilted Violet. So you do want to blend up a little bit further than you want the Wilted Violet to start. That way you have some color overlap here and get the colors blended real well. And then we'll move into the Villainous Potion. So as you can see, I've got some overlap there. I will come back and blend these two colors back into each other a little bit later after I get the rest of my blending done. I decided that I didn't like the way they looked. I thought I got them good enough, but I didn't. So now we're going to come in with that Villainous Potion color. I love this purple. It was much needed in the distress color line, in my opinion. And then we will finish off with the Chipped Sapphire. I would be interested to know what your favorite night sky colors are. I don't know that I really have a favorite. I just pick whatever colors I happen to be feeling at the time. Sometimes I Google a color scheme, look on Pinterest. I get my colors from all over the place. This just happened to strike my fancy today. So as you can see, the Villainous Potion and the Chipped Sapphire blended really well. And then I decided I did not like the way the Wilted Violet and the Picked Raspberry blended. So I'm just going to go back in and blend those two colors to make it more of a seamless blend. Then we'll be moving on to the next part of the card, which, even though I just finished editing this video, I cannot possibly remember. Oh, duh, water, of course. So I'm going to clean up my mat here real quick, and then we're going to spray some water on it. I did do 1 or 2 full sprays, and then I did a couple half sprays to get those bigger water drops. And then I'll take my heat tool and dry that real quick. So now I decided I'm going to put these cityscapes on here, and as you can see, one is darker than the other slightly. But I want the shape of the edges of the cityscape to match my concave die there. Now you could glue them down and just cut off the edges, but because this concave die has a stitched edge to it, I want that stitched edge to match my die. So I'm going to use this die to cut out the cityscape, but I do want to kind of see how far up I want my cityscape. Like I want the buildings in the back to be taller than the buildings in the front, of course. So I just kind of had to eyeball how I wanted that to go. So now you've got, see that I have my dies cut out. Now the trickiest, oh, and here off screen, I did punch out a few of those windows and put some yellow cardstock in behind there, so you could see that some of the lights were on in the buildings. But I didn't pop all of them out. Some of them I did leave in. So the trickiest part of getting this on was finding exactly where this particular die cut, here I have in my hand, matched up with the edges on this die. I don't know why that was so hard for me, but it was. I kept wanting to put it up higher and then realized that's not where it went. So I kept having to scooch it down, and then I think I got it a little crooked at one point. And anyway, that was the hardest part. I've done this with dies before, and usually it goes pretty seamlessly, but I think that's because there are like certain scallops or something like that defines exactly where it needs to go. But this one was a little difficult, and I don't know why. But anyway, so I did, as you can see, I did that with both of the cityscape pieces there with the yellow windows. And now I'm just popping this front one up on foam so you can see that it has some dimension and some separation between the two sets of buildings. Now I've got that globe die that we don't know where it came from. And I'm just taking some Zig 2-way glue pen and putting that all over the front of the die. And I'm going to let this dry so it goes on blue, even though you can't really see it that well in this video, but it does go on a slight blue color. And then I'm going to let it dry, and we're going to put some of these Cosmic Shimmer Aurora flakes. And this is in the color Rainbow Sorbet or Sherbet, however you want to call it. I don't really care. Whatever strikes your fancy. So I'm going to open these up and show you how shiny and pretty they are. They've got silver and orange and pink and pretty colors in there. You only need a little bit of these. These go a long way. and they tend to like grow when you take them out of the jar, I swear. And they are a very, very, very messy product. I had these everywhere, I'll tell you what. My desk is a disaster, and so all the little shiny pieces got all over the things all over my desk, and I really should have cleaned up before I did this, but I did not. I was feeling lazy. Anyway, so you put them on there, they're going to stick to that glue, and then you're going to want to take at least this is the way I found it was easiest, take a stiff bristle brush and knock all that excess off. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And then as you're knocking it off, it's going to like kind of buff and make the gilding flakes. That's basically what they are, is gilding flakes. I know they're called Aurora flakes, but they're gilding flakes. It's just going to like make it shiny and flat where it's been stuck to. I did miss a few pieces. Yeah, you can see how shiny my hands are. I'm like, ah! I like to be messy, but these kind of things, this and glitter, is like, I don't pull these out very often because they're so messy. That is a Swiffer duster dry cloth. That really helps with cleaning up the mess. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right, so I did miss a couple pieces here, so I'm just going to take my Zig glue pen and fill in those pieces. We're going to let it dry, and then we're going to scoop it into that little piece, that little pile that's on my piece of paper there, and fill those pieces in. That way my die cut is completely covered in those gilding flakes. So now it's dried, and I'm just going to dab it into that pile there. I did not bring out any more because heaven forbid I make a bigger mess than I already have. I had those things everywhere. I still have them everywhere, actually. But like I said, those Swiffer duster cloths help a lot in the cleanup, but this stuff is a lot like glitter. It's the craft herpes of the craft. What's the herpes of the crafting world? There we go. It gets everywhere. So off screen, I did cut a circle die cut and kind of blended it with a little bit of blue, and to put behind this globe die cut, so it didn't look strange when I put it on my background, that part of it was going to be purple and part of it was going to be off the card, because I'm going to hang this off the card a little bit. I tried just a plain white die cut, but I didn't like that either, so I decided to color it blue. That was my thought process on that. Plus, where you're going to see through the die cut, it's going to be where the water is on the earth anyway, so blue just made sense. So I put that underneath something to dry, so it stuck really well, and then we're going to start assembling the card. So don't forget that this is a collab with my friend Renee over at Delaney Jane Cards, so the link to her video will be in the description box below. Please go check out what she has made for you today with the things that I sent her, and see what kind of fun that she's got over there. I'm sure she has made something fabulous. Neither one of us knew what we were sending each other. We just sent each other a random selection of supplies and stamped images, die cuts, whatever. That way it was a surprise when we got it, and we had to kind of come up with what to use. There wasn't too strict of rules for this challenge. We could put whatever we wanted with these items. We didn't have to use everything, that kind of stuff. But it was still a very fun challenge. It was fun to create with supplies that I do not have in my craft room. So I had fun. I hope that you enjoyed this collab. We're just going to finish up assembling this card, and be sure to go check out Renee's channel. So I'm just going to pop up the top half of the little super girl here and stick her feet to the bottom half of my cityscape. And since I didn't color, I haven't used my Copics in a while, and I haven't been coloring the greatest. I did mess up on the belt. I got some bleeding into the belt. So I'm going to use this little shield to cover up my little boo-boo. I'm going to offset it here a little bit, so I just felt like it gave it a little bit more interest to put her little shield on a off-keter a little bit. I did have a little tiny die set here that I've never used. It's from, I think, My Creative Time or something like that, that I cut the sentiments out of. So I used this sentiment that says, "You're my superhero." And then on the inside, after I cut this out, I believe the sentiment says, "You're amazing." But we will have to find out together. Oh no, I've got the card sitting right here, doofus. Yes, it says you're amazing. And we're going to put that on the inside. I use that same die. And then I just cut a little sliver of that star paper that Renee made and put that across the top to decorate the inside just a little bit. And that basically finishes off the card. Oh no, I lie. That does not finish off the card. We're going to use some of those gems. I almost forgot about those gems when I was doing this because I felt like my card was so shiny and pretty as it was. So I will add a couple of those gems that she sent me to the card as well. So we're just going to add a few gems and then that will basically finish off the card. I did kind of struggle on where to put them because I felt like I had so much on my card already. She sent such an amazing amount of stuff for me to use. So we were going to add just a little bit of this Aqua Shimmer pen from my stash on just the gold parts here to make them more shiny. And then I'm going to add a couple of those gems. I added a couple pink ones. And then off screen, I also added a yellow one to the center of the star, which I did not include in the video. But you do see it in my final pictures. So I'm just going to add a couple of these pink ones here to the sentiment up top. And I do end up moving one later off screen, but that's okay. You'll see that in the final pictures. And then that finishes off my card for today. So I do have my supply list in the description box below, along with links to my social media. I would greatly appreciate if you follow me over there. And don't forget the link to Renee's video will be in the description box below. Please go and check her video out. And as always, have a great day.